My name is Robert, and this is Broken America. Today we are talking about the machine sitting in your kitchen right now, humming quietly against the wall. The one you spent $3,000 on 4 years ago. The one that is already making a noise it did not make last year. That noise has a name. It is the sound of a design flaw working its way through your warranty period on a very precise schedule. By the time I am done with this video, you will understand exactly why your refrigerator is going to die, who engineered that death, and what you can do about it. The golden age they killed. Let me start with a number that should make you furious. 50 years. That is how long a refrigerator built in 1960 was designed to last. Not 5 years, not 10 years. 50 years. There are families in this country who still have a Frigidaire or a Westinghouse unit running in their garage from the Eisenhower administration that keeps beer cold without complaint. Those machines have never seen a service technician. They have never had a motherboard replaced. They have never required a firmware update. They just run. Now compare that to what the industry is selling you today. The average lifespan of a modern refrigerator, according to the National Association of Home Builders, is between 10 and 15 years. That sounds acceptable until you talk to the actual repair technicians, the men and women who make house calls and open these machines up on your kitchen floor. They will tell you off the record that the high-end smart units from the major Korean and American brands are failing catastrophically between years 4 and 7. Not slowing down, not running inefficiently, failing, dead, terminal. So what happened? How did we go from 50-year machines to 5-year disposable boxes? The answer is not one thing. It is a coordinated series of engineering decisions, regulatory pressures, and deliberate design choices that together transformed the refrigerator from a durable appliance into a subscription product. You just do not know you are subscribing yet. In the 1950s and 1960s, refrigerators were built around a philosophy of mechanical simplicity. The compressor was a heavy, cast iron rotary unit sitting in a sealed bath of oil. It spun in a circle. The oil splashed. Everything stayed lubricated. The thermostat was a simple bimetallic strip, a piece of coiled metal that expanded and contracted with temperature and clicked a switch on or off. No circuit boards, no sensors, no software, just physics doing what physics does. If something broke, it was a switch, a seal, or a belt. A local appliance repairman could diagnose the problem in 20 minutes, order a universal part from a distributor, and have the machine running again the same afternoon. Parts were standardized. Labor was affordable. Repair made economic sense. Now I want you to hold that image in your head, because everything that comes after is the story of how the industry systematically destroyed it. The degradation did not happen overnight. It happened in stages, each one justified by a marketing claim about innovation, efficiency, or consumer convenience. Energy savings, quieter operation, smart features. Each new generation of appliance added complexity and removed repairability. And at each stage, the companies involved knew exactly what they were doing, because a machine that lasts 50 years only sells once. A machine that dies in 7 years sells 8 times across a lifetime. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a business model, and your kitchen is where it plays out. The linear compressor scam. The single most destructive engineering change in the history of the modern refrigerator is something most consumers have never heard of. It is called the linear compressor. And if your refrigerator was built after 2005 by LG, Kenmore, or any of their subsidiary brands, there is a very good chance you have one sitting inside your machine right now like a time bomb. Here is the history. In the early 2000s, the Department of Energy began tightening energy efficiency standards for home appliances. This was not inherently a bad idea. Refrigerators from the 1980s were genuinely energy-hungry machines. The problem is what the manufacturers decided to do in response. Rather than improving the existing rotary compressor technology, which was reliable but not efficient enough to meet the new benchmarks, LG made a different bet. They invented the linear compressor. Instead of a motor that spins continuously in a circle, the linear compressor uses a piston that moves back and forth in a straight line, like a syringe plunger. They claimed it was quieter, more efficient, and longer lasting. They won engineering awards for it. They put it in millions of refrigerators. They marketed it as the future of cooling technology. There was just one problem they did not advertise. The rotary compressor lubricates itself because it spins. The oil inside the housing gets flung around the chamber by centrifugal force, coating every moving surface. It is elegant, and it is effective, and it has worked for a century. The linear compressor does not spin. The piston moves in one direction and then reverses. There is no centrifugal force. There is no oil splashing. Instead, they engineered a microscopic system of valves, springs, and pressure differentials designed to push a thin film of oil onto the cylinder walls at the precise moment the piston changes direction. When that system works perfectly, the compressor is fine. When that system fails, which it does, the piston runs dry against the cylinder wall. Metal grinds against metal. The tolerances inside that compressor are measured in microns. It does not take long before the cylinder wall is scored, and when that happens, microscopic metal shavings contaminate the refrigerant lines. The entire sealed cooling system, the lines, the coils, the evaporator, gets flooded with metallic debris. This is not a compressor failure. This is a total loss event. You cannot replace just the compressor because the contamination has spread through the entire system like shrapnel through the bloodstream. The fridge is done. Finished. Totaled. And here's the part that should make your blood pressure rise, LG knew. In 2019, a class action lawsuit was filed against LG Electronics in the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey. The suit alleged that LG had been aware of systematic linear compressor failures and had deliberately concealed that information from consumers. The settlement covered hundreds of thousands of units. LG agreed to extend warranties on affected models and provide compensation in some cases. The settlement terms were not widely publicized. LG did not send a letter to every customer who owned an affected unit. They did not run advertisements explaining the defect. They quietly settled, quietly extended some warranties, and quietly kept selling the same compressor design in new units. I will say that again. After settling a class action lawsuit over linear compressor failures, they kept selling refrigerators with linear compressors. Because the math still works in their favor. The lawsuit cost them money. But selling millions of units that die in 6 years and get replaced with new units makes them far more money. The settlement was a cost of doing business. You were a line item in their quarterly report. The ice maker conspiracy. Now I want to talk about something that sounds almost too stupid to be true. At some point in the last 20 years, a marketing executive at a major appliance company looked at a refrigerator and said, "You know what this needs? An ice maker. In the door, at the top, inside the refrigerator compartment." And an engineer in that same room said, "That is a terrible idea." And the marketing executive won. They always win. Here is the physics problem that engineer was trying to explain. Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Your refrigerator compartment, the main section where you keep your food, is designed to maintain a temperature of approximately 38 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 degrees above freezing. You are being asked to manufacture ice inside a box that is engineered not to freeze. The old ice makers were in the freezer. Obviously, because the freezer is below freezing, because that is where ice is made. This is not complicated thermodynamics. This is common sense that your 9-year-old understands. But modern consumers wanted more freezer space. They wanted French door refrigerators with the freezer on the bottom and the ice maker accessible in the door without bending down. So manufacturers obliged. They moved the ice maker into the refrigerator section and then spent billions of engineering dollars trying to solve the physics problem they had deliberately created. The solution they landed on was to run a dedicated refrigerant line from the freezer compressor up through the back wall of the refrigerator cabinet, through a set of thin plastic tubes, into a poorly insulated chamber behind the ice maker compartment. They are pumping freezing air into a warm box through a plastic straw and expecting the system to hold indefinitely. It does not hold. The seals around those tubes are constantly exposed to the temperature differential between the freezer air and the refrigerator air. They cycle between cold and warm every time you open the door. Over months and years, the seals degrade. Warm air infiltrates the ice maker compartment. The moisture in that warm air condenses and freezes on the evaporator coil inside the ice maker housing. Over time, that frost builds up into a solid block of ice that jams the ice maker mechanism, ruptures the water inlet valve, and in the worst cases, causes water to back up and leak through the bottom of the refrigerator door onto your kitchen floor. Samsung French door refrigerators are the most widely reported example of this failure. If you search the Consumer Reports complaint database or simply search the phrase Samsung ice maker leak on any internet forum, you will find tens of thousands of reports that read like they were written by the same person. Ice maker freezes up. Defrost cycle runs, but cannot keep up with the frost accumulation. Water leaks. Fan motor freezes and begins making grinding noise. Repair quote exceeds the value of the machine. Samsung was sued over this. Multiple class actions across multiple years. They issued a software update that ran the defrost cycle more frequently, which was like putting a bandage on a broken leg. The fundamental design flaw was never fixed because fixing it would require acknowledging that the ice in the door design is physically compromised. They would have to admit the marketing department overruled the engineering department. They would rather keep sending software updates. Meanwhile, every time that defrost cycle runs, your compressor works harder, your energy bill goes up slightly, and the seal between the ice maker compartment and the rest of the refrigerator degrades a little more. They sold you a physics problem and called it a premium feature. The computer chip invasion, your grandmother's refrigerator had one moving part that required any intelligence: the thermostat. It was a bimetallic coil that responded to temperature. Cold enough, it clicked the compressor off. Too warm, it clicked it back on. That was it. That was the entire control system. You could replace it with a screwdriver and a $10 part from any hardware store. Your refrigerator has a motherboard. I want you to sit with that for a moment. Your refrigerator, the machine that keeps your milk cold, has a printed circuit board with microprocessors, surface-mounted capacitors, voltage regulators, and firmware that was written by a software team in Seoul or in Bentonville. It has a touchscreen. It has Wi-Fi. Some models have a camera inside so you can look at your leftovers from the grocery store. One manufacturer, and I am not making this up, released a model with a built-in television on the door. Here is what they do not tell you about putting a computer inside a refrigerator. Computers hate humidity. Computers hate temperature fluctuation. Computers hate vibration. A refrigerator operates in a humid kitchen environment, cycles through temperature changes hundreds of times per day, and runs a compressor that generates vibration every time it kicks on. You have taken the most hostile possible environment for delicate electronics and placed your most sensitive components directly inside it. The control board on a modern refrigerator sits either on the back wall of the unit, near the compressor, or at the top inside the fresh food section. Both locations expose it to constant moisture migration. The solder joints on these boards are subjected to micro vibrations every time the compressor runs. Over years, those joints develop micro fractures. The board begins to behave erratically. The temperature readings become inconsistent. The compressor starts and stops at the wrong intervals. The ice maker malfunctions. The display shows error codes that require a service technician with a proprietary diagnostic tool to interpret. And then, the board fails completely. The replacement board for a Samsung, LG, or Whirlpool refrigerator built after 2010 costs between $200 and $500, depending on the model. That is before labor. A service call to diagnose the problem and replace the board will run you another $150 to $250. You are now at $600 to $750 to repair a machine you bought for $800 on sale. The technician looks at you over his clipboard and says the phrase, "You have heard it. Everyone has heard it. It is not worth fixing." But here is the part of the story that never makes it into the sales brochure. The control boards for many of these units are not stocked by the manufacturer for more than 7 to 10 years after the production run ends. After that window closes, the board is discontinued. If your 12-year-old refrigerator develops a board failure after the part's window closes, the repair is not expensive. It is impossible. The part does not exist anymore. The machine is scrap. This is not an accident. Parts obsolescence is a deliberate inventory management decision. Stocking replacement parts costs money. Discontinuing them drives replacement sales. The company that sold you the refrigerator also benefits when you buy another one. They designed the machine. They designed the parts window. And they designed the upgrade cycle. The only thing they did not design was a way for you to opt out. The repair industry scam. At this point, you might be thinking, fine, I understand the appliance companies are rotten, but at least I can call an independent repair technician. At least there is a free market solution. I hate to be the one to tell you this. The repair industry has been restructured to funnel you toward replacement, not repair. Let me explain how. In the 1970s and 1980s, the appliance repair industry was made up of independent technicians. Men and women who ran small businesses, who knew the machines inside and out, who stocked common parts on their truck, and who made their living fixing things. They had no incentive to recommend replacement because their revenue came from repair. That model has been largely dismantled. What replaced it is a system designed by the manufacturers themselves. Today, when your refrigerator breaks, you have 3 realistic options. Option 1 is to call the manufacturer's authorized service network. These are technicians who have been trained and certified by the manufacturer and who use the manufacturer's proprietary diagnostic software. The manufacturer controls what parts they can order, what repair procedures they are authorized to perform, and what they are allowed to charge. In many cases, the authorized technician is not actually making a diagnosis. They are plugging a device into your refrigerator's service port, reading an error code, and ordering the replacement module that the code specifies. They are not fixing machines. They are swapping modules. When a module replacement does not solve the problem, the next recommended module gets ordered, and the next one. I have spoken to homeowners who paid for 2 and 3 separate module replacements on the same refrigerator before the technician finally told them the machine was unrepairable. Option 2 is to call a big box retailer's service department, a Geek Squad type arrangement. Same problem. These technicians are generalists operating from a service manual, not craftsmen who understand the mechanical and electrical systems of the machine they are working on. They have the same access to proprietary parts at the same inflated prices, the same module swapping methodology, and the same financial incentive structure. Because their time is billed at a flat rate regardless of outcome, a complicated diagnosis that requires real diagnostic thinking does not pay them any better than a simple one. Option 3. Finding a genuine independent appliance technician who actually understands these machines at a deep level is increasingly difficult. Not because they do not exist, but because the manufacturer has made their work nearly impossible. In 2021, major appliance manufacturers, including Whirlpool, LG, and Samsung, began restricting access to their technical service manuals. These are the documents that explain how the machines actually work. The wiring diagrams, the component specifications, the diagnostic procedures. Independent technicians used to be able to purchase these documents. Now they are available only to manufacturer-authorized service providers. This is the right to repair issue, And it is not just about tractors and iPhones. It is about the machine in your kitchen. Your refrigerator is designed to be serviced only by people the manufacturer has approved, using tools the manufacturer sells. Following procedures, the manufacturer controls. With parts, the manufacturer prices, without any competitive pressure whatsoever. And when the manufacturer decides your model is no longer worth supporting, every technician in that system gets the same message at the same time. It is not worth fixing. The warranty illusion. At the point of sale, the warranty feels like a safety net. 1 year parts and labor, 5 years on the sealed system, 10 years on the compressor. The salesman points to these numbers like they are proof of the manufacturer's confidence in the product. He is not lying exactly. He is just describing the net without mentioning the holes. Let me walk you through what a warranty claim actually looks like in practice. Your refrigerator fails in year 3. You're inside the 1 year parts and labor warranty. So you call the manufacturer. They schedule an authorized service technician. In most metropolitan areas, the earliest available appointment is between 7 and 14 days away. The technician arrives, runs the diagnostic, and determines a part needs to be ordered. The part is on back order, 6 to 8 weeks. You have been without a refrigerator for 2 months before the repair even begins. Now consider year 6. Your sealed system warranty says 5 years. You are outside it by 1 year. The compressor fails. The authorized technician confirms the diagnosis. The manufacturer tells you the compressor is covered for 10 years. You celebrate briefly. Then they tell you the labor to replace the compressor is not covered under the 10-year compressor warranty, only the part. The labor bill for a compressor replacement on a French door refrigerator, which requires recovering the refrigerant, removing the back panel, unbrazing the old compressor, brazing in the new one, pulling a vacuum on the system, and recharging with refrigerant, runs between $400 and $700 depending on your market. You have a covered part and an uncovered labor bill that makes the repair economically questionable. And that is when everything goes according to plan. When it does not go according to plan, when the technician misdiagnoses the issue, or when the replacement part fails within weeks, the warranty process becomes adversarial. Every subsequent claim requires a new service call, a new diagnosis submission, a new authorization from a corporate representative who has never seen your refrigerator and is working from a spreadsheet of approved repair costs. Customers have reported spending 6 months in this loop, making payments on a new refrigerator to replace the broken one while simultaneously fighting for warranty coverage on the machine that failed. The warranty is not a promise. It is a negotiation framework that the manufacturer designed and the manufacturer controls. Every term, every exclusion, every procedural requirement exists because a lawyer decided it reduced the manufacturer's liability. It was never designed to make you whole. It was designed to make you feel safe enough to sign the purchase agreement. Read the exclusions before you buy. They cover failures caused by environmental conditions, which means humidity. They cover failures caused by improper installation, which the technician they send will sometimes attribute the failure to after the fact. They do not cover, in most cases, consequential damages, meaning the food that spoiled while the machine was broken. A $3,000 refrigerator with a $200 food loss and a $400 uncovered labor bill is not a $3,000 purchase. It is a multi-year financial relationship with a company whose interests are directly opposed to yours. The safe list, what to actually buy. This is the part of the video where I tell you there is still hope. And there is. But it requires you to make a decision that will feel deeply counterintuitive when you are standing on a showroom floor, surrounded by stainless steel and touchscreens. You need to buy the ugliest, most boring refrigerator in the store. I mean that literally. Walk past the French door units with the indoor ice makers, the touchscreens, the cameras. And the Wi-Fi. Walk past the ones with the curved handles and the fingerprint-resistant coating. Walk to the back of the showroom where they keep the basic top freezer units, the ones that look like something from 1990. The ones the salesman will try to steer you away from by telling you they lack features. Those features are the failure points. The absence of features is not a deficiency. It is durability by design. Here is the specific guidance. For new purchases, the most reliable refrigerator you can buy in the current market is a basic top freezer unit from either Whirlpool or Maytag. Specifically models without electronic control boards. Look for mechanical thermostats, not digital displays. Look for an ice maker in the freezer, not in the door, or better yet, no ice maker at all. Buy a standalone ice maker if you need one. A standalone ice maker that breaks costs $40 to replace, not $700. The specific models I would look at are in the Whirlpool WRT series and the Maytag MRT series. These are not exciting. They do not have apps. They will not remind you to buy milk. But they are built with significantly fewer electronic components than the flagship lines. They use conventional compressors rather than linear compressors, and the repair community has decades of experience working on them. If you want a side-by-side or a French door unit and you are willing to accept the higher risk profile, avoid LG and Samsung entirely for the reasons we have already covered. If you insist on a high-feature unit, look at the Cafe line from GE, specifically units built before the GE Appliances division was sold to Haier in 2016. Post-acquisition quality control has been inconsistent. Pre-acquisition Cafe and Profile units were built to a higher standard and are available in substantial numbers on the used market. Which brings me to the best-kept secret in the appliance world. The used market for refrigerators built between 1995 and 2012 is one of the most undervalued asset classes in the American consumer economy. I am not joking. A Whirlpool or a Mana top freezer unit from 2005, purchased from an estate sale or a used appliance dealer for between $75 and $150, is likely to outlast a $3,000 smart refrigerator purchased new today. Those machines were built before the linear compressor became standard, before the control board invasion, before the sealed bearing tub and the proprietary parts strategy. They were built with conventional rotary compressors that are simple to diagnose and rebuild. Their thermostats are mechanical. Their wiring is straightforward. Any independent technician who has been in the business for more than 15 years can work on them from memory. Yes, they are louder. The compressor makes more noise than the whisper-quiet linear units. That noise is the sound of robust mechanical operation. Get used to it. It is the sound of a machine that will still be running in the year 2040. For those who want brand new and will not consider used, I will name one brand that has refused to fully capitulate to the disposability model, Sub-Zero. I know, $12,000 for a refrigerator. I hear you. But here is the thing about Sub-Zero that separates them from every other name in this conversation. Sub-Zero builds their refrigerators with two separate compressor systems, one for the refrigerator section and one for the freezer. They are built with thicker insulation, heavier duty hardware, and a service infrastructure that actually stocks parts for units that are 20 and 30 years old. Sub-Zero technicians are factory-trained specialists, not general appliance technicians. The machines are designed to be serviced at a component level, not a module swap level. A Sub-Zero unit purchased today will likely still be operating in 25 years. A Samsung unit purchased today will likely need to be replaced in 7 years. A Sub-Zero costs 4 times as much. Divided over 25 years of operation, it costs less per year than the Samsung divided over 7. This is basic arithmetic that the appliance industry is counting on you not to do while you are standing in the showroom. If $12,000 is not in your budget, I understand. Go find a 1999 Whirlpool at an estate sale and put the other $2,900 in your pocket. One final note on what to avoid, and this is important. Avoid any refrigerator that requires Wi-Fi to function normally. Avoid any refrigerator with a touchscreen display that controls critical functions like temperature. Avoid any refrigerator with a feature the salesman describes using the word smart. Every smart feature is a circuit board. Every circuit board is a failure point with a planned obsolescence window. You are not buying intelligence. You are buying liability. The dumbest fridge on the floor is the smartest purchase in the store. The verdict. Here is what we know. The refrigerator industry took a 50-year machine and deliberately redesigned it into a 7-year machine. They did it through the linear compressor, which fails catastrophically and contaminates the entire cooling system when it does. They did it through the indoor ice maker, which violates basic thermodynamics and produces a cascading failure pattern that destroys fan motors and floods kitchen floors. They did it through the control board, which is a humidity-sensitive computer placed inside a humidity-generating appliance with a planned parts obsolescence window of 7 to 10 years. And they protected this system with a warranty designed by lawyers to minimize payouts and a repair ecosystem restructured to funnel consumers toward replacement. This was not incompetence. Incompetence produces random failures. This produces consistent, predictable, scheduled failures that arrive reliably after the warranty expires and before the machine has provided reasonable value. This is scheduled failure, not accident. That is engineering. It is just not engineering in your interest. The solution is the same solution we return to on this channel every single time we pull back the curtain on one of these industries. Reject the new. Buy the simple. Buy the mechanical. Buy the machine that was designed when the business model still required it to last. Buy the boring refrigerator at the back of the showroom. Buy the 1998 Whirlpool from the estate sale. Pay the sub-zero price if you can afford it. And never think about your refrigerator again for the next 3 decades. Stop paying $3,000 for a computer that keeps your milk cold. Computers are not appliances. Appliances are machines. And machines, real machines, built from steel and copper, and cast iron and mechanical logic, do not require firmware updates. They just run. My name is Robert. This is Broken America. Do not let them sell you a subscription to something you used to own. We will see you in the next investigation.